Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Gleesy.
And I'm Al.
And here at Forever I Do, y'all, we be
Yep,
bragging. Yes,
brag.
we believe in building relationships according to God. So today, what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? We're talking about changing spouses.
Like, you get a new spouse?
No, we're not talking about none of that kind of wife swap or
Oh.
husband swap. Like, we know that's like a thing in reality TV world, but
Yeah.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about when your spouse starts to change. What? I know we probably think of it in a negative way. Often you hear people say, well, you're changing. You're not the person that I married. You're not the person that you used to be. And we think of it in a negative way, but the reality is change is inevitable.
Absolutely.
However, growth, that is optional. You want to change. You should be changing as you age, as you mature, as you grow in wisdom. You want to actually change. Like, you want your spouse to continue to evolve, right?
Yeah.
But again, like, when change starts to happen, sometimes we are so used to how things used to be that we have a problem actually grabbing hold of what is becoming.
Okay, so if you start to see changes in your spouse, the first thing is you don't want to criticize them.
Yeah, you don't want to criticize. You don't want to turn them down. Now, we're not talking about if they're changing for the worse.
Right.
And even if they are changing for the worse, you still don't want to criticize. You should still be able to kind of approach them and say, like, I feel you aren't operating at your best. Like, how can we, what can we do, like, together to get you back to operating at your best? Because if the change is they used to be in church with you every Sunday and now they out at the strip club, like, that's not a change that you want to kind of grab hold of and help to grow and develop. But if the change is something that's for the better, if they're evolving into a better version, a healthier version of themselves, you don't want to criticize. You don't want to stunt their growth because you want to hold on to the idea of who they were or who they used to be. You want to help them. You want to encourage them. So you do not want to criticize.
Right. And when you see these changes happening, the one thing that you can do is start a conversation with your spouse.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? What is changing for you? Because sometimes you don't even realize that you're changing.
Absolutely. You can lose sight of the change within yourself. And sometimes you start to change, but you don't know kind of what's happening, what's going on with you. So if you're going through that and your spouse comes to you and say, I've noticed a change in you, let's talk about it. Now that can kind of start that thought process of, who is it that I'm actually becoming? We like to do something called who goes. Who do you want to be as? So who do I want to be as a husband? Who do I want to be as a father? Who do I want to be in my career? Like, those questions can kind of spark something that can pull out of you who it is you're actually turning into. And again, that can open dialogue so that your spouse can better support you in who you're trying to be.
Right.
Again, and kind of encourage you into that healthier version of yourself. You don't want to criticize, but you absolutely want to have that conversation of who it is that your spouse or a person that you love and care about, who are they becoming?
Yeah, and then the last thing you want to do is cheer them on. You want to celebrate the growth in your spouse.
So one of the things I love about this is, like, you cheer them on, but you cheer them on in a way that helps them. So we used to actually battle in this area as far as cheering each other on because I wasn't doing it the way that I needed to do it. And so I can recall, like, Gleacy's going up for, or Gleacy's in school and she's working through her nursing degree, and I'm seeing that, she's not achieving the level that she wants to achieve. So I'm like, well, now let's do it my way. Study like this and do that and do this. And she's like, no, like, and we would battle. my intentions were to cheer her on, but she wasn't receiving it because it wasn't what she actually needed. It wasn't how she needed that support. So we had to go back and have the conversation, and then I could properly cheer her on. And fast forward down the line, I became like a de facto HR officer for her in some cases. Like, babe, I really want to go for this job. I want to go for this management position. And now I'm putting on my imaginary HR hat, and I'm like, okay, let's pull up the job description. Let's look at your resume. Let's build out your resume to better match the job description. Okay, let me look at this this job description, and let me actually develop some questions that we can use for interview prep. So now we're sitting and we're going back and forth with interview preparations. And now I'm her biggest cheerleader, and this is what's next for you, like encouraging her, even if she starts to lose hope in it. This is what next. The door wouldn't open if it wasn't meant for you to walk through. Again, let's rehash these interview questions. When you go in this interview, you're going to kill it because you have actually prepared. But again, that's how I can better cheer her on.
Yeah, that's so good. Thanks, babe.
So again, what's that first rule?
Don't criticize.
Yes, you don't want to criticize. You don't want to be overly critical. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. If you feel like they're operating, again, not at their best, have that conversation. I feel like you aren't operating at your best. If they are, evolving and changing and growing, then you want to be an encourager, and you would still have that conversation, but it should look different. Who is it that you are becoming as, and then fill in the blank.
Yeah, and then the last thing that you want to do is cheer them on.
Yes, be your spouse's biggest cheerleader, but cheer them however they need to be cheered on, not in your own way. Don't be like me. So.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to hear more from us, hit the subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video from us. We thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you in our next video.
And just remember, change is inevitable, but growth is optional. Brag on it.